Value, aka quality, expertise. Let's talk about the why. Why value pricing, why it's important to us. Essentially, it repels people who are just price shopping. Frankly, if you're just price shopping, that's not going to be necessarily a customer that really is a good fit for us. If you're just price shopping, it's just a race to the bottom. We don't want to play that game. So the no prices on the website, I'll get into the reasoning why. So with value pricing, you price the customer, not the service. You price the customer. Yes, you heard that right. That's why there's no prices. It's about attracting clients who see beyond the price tag. When you think about traditional pricing methods and you price by the hour, let's just be real. If you're really efficient, you will lose money on the project. It's like a punishment if you're too efficient. But then if you take too long, then the customer suffers with a nasty surprise, a bigger bill than expected. It causes more friction. And I was getting tired of that, but I also found that fixed pricing wasn't good enough. It just wasn't. It wasn't what the client really needed. I felt like they deserved more. They needed that high level, more customized touch point, and I felt the price wasn't really reflecting that. We do express the timeline or pace of a project, but we don't necessarily want to get into the weeds of the duration or amount of hours it takes. With value pricing, the customer is presented with 3 different customized options to their unique pain points, desires, and situation, really. And if the customer automatically looks at each of those 3 amounts and then asks, how does this translate to how many hours? What's your hourly rate? Things like that, then the point is lost. I can already tell that they probably aren't a good fit when that comes out of their mouth. We're really trying to sell the outcome. We're trying to understand what our customer is looking for. Not to be graphic, but it's like the analogy of childbirth. You care that the baby is healthy, not the labor pains. You're caring about the outcome, the result, what's at the end of this. If the cleanup job is going to take 4 to 6 weeks or 2 weeks or whatever it is, as long as that's transparent and there's updates along the way, then it's more about the milestones and the accomplishments, not necessarily how many hours and then the bill that comes up and no one really forecasted. It just gets awkward, intense, friction bills, things like that. I'll give you another example. Charging a customer $500 per month for a one-to-one service could be a steal for client A, but could be too expensive for client B. Each client sees the same number differently. If you offer one customized price for a one-to-one service offering, it will always be the wrong price. For example, when you walk into Starbucks, they don't just have one size of beverage, they have 3. They don't have a one size fits all. So again, value pricing isn't just one solution with one price. It's always a tiered solution. It's usually 3, the rule of 3. It goes back to the power, the impact of choice. Typically, when we present 3 options to a client, they usually pick the middle one. But that's the beauty of it. Value is very subjective. And by offering choices, we shift the client's mindset from should I to how do I work with you? Because we have the different options, it does help with the conversion rate. It really does help propel the sales conversation. You just end up learning so much more about how to talk to people, how to actually communicate the value when you do come up with a customized 3-tiered approach. Again, we're pricing the customer, we're not pricing the service. They're used to seeing the 3 packages, but it is very tailored to them. And it's kind of a cool way to price. It's just a different approach, more of a creative, personalized touch to the pricing. It's a way that has brought our clients some really tangible results. Like they are very clear on the scope. There's a lot more transparency and confidence in what they're purchasing. And if you're a bookkeeper watching this, if you're an accountant watching this, you know the pains of scope. You really know the pains of scope. And also, if you're not a bookkeeper or an accountant watching this, you may also have a lot of pain with some scope creep. And I feel you. Scope creep is so painful. That's one area where we've really finessed and made it really clear. Value pricing, it's an ally in that conversation. It's not necessarily like the prices are way too high. Here's the thing with value pricing. Define what is expensive. What does that mean? It's very subjective. Again, I'll go back to the $500 a month example. $500 might be too much. It might be too low. It's the same number, but different perception of it. It all depends on what's going on in the business and where you're allocating value and investment in the present time. It's not just about the numbers, it's about the value. More importantly, there's people behind those numbers. Like how we look at it, there's a trust. It's a privilege to work with our clients. We take it pretty seriously. They're just the best. It's also a relationship as well. There's a lot of rapport and goodwill. We're very generous with our clients. We give them a client handbook, and it's all the things that business owners really need to know. You only get that when you're a client. That's just another way to, again, add value. We're constantly thinking of ways to predict what they might need as well. I'm just so passionate about it. Did any of this pique your curiosity?